like this child. He is the greatest in the kingdom of heaven. Whoever welcomes a child in my name welcomes me. But if anyone should cause one of these little ones who believes in me to stumble, it would be better for him to have a large millstone tied around his neck and thrown into the deepest sea.
Come on, children. No. Come on.
There was once a very rich man who dressed like a king and lived in a lap of luxury every day of his life. In the same town, there was also a very poor and sick man named Lazarus, who was covered all over in dreadful sores. His life was so miserable that he longed to have even the crumbs that fell from the rich man's table. And Lazarus had no friends, save the dogs that came and licked his sores. And time went by, and he finally died. And the angels came, and they carried him straight to heaven in the bosom of Abraham. The rich man also died. But instead of going to heaven, he went into hell, where he was in torment from the fire. But he could look over, and he could see Abraham with Lazarus beside him. The rich man called out across the abyss, "Father Abraham, have mercy on me. Send Lazarus to dip the tip of his finger in water to cool my tongue, for I am in agony in this fire." Son, remember that in your life on earth you had everything your heart could desire, and Lazarus had nothing. Now he is comforted and you are tormented. And besides, don't you see? There is a huge chasm between heaven and hell. No one can go from heaven to where you are, even if they wanted to. And no one can come here from hell. But the rich man answered, "Father, I beg you, send Lazarus to my father's house. For I have 5 brothers and he needs to warn them, so they don't end up here in this place of torment." But Abraham told him, "They have the written words of Moses and the prophets. That is enough." "I know, but they don't believe it. But if someone could come back from the dead, then they would change their ways." Then Abraham said, "No, my son. If they don't believe what Moses and the prophets have said, then they won't be convinced, even if someone rises from the dead."
I am
Nicodemus, welcome. You have waited until night to come to me?
I wanted to speak to you alone. In the city there are always so many people around, and
People who might not think it wise to be seen with me.
Rabbi, we know that you must be a teacher sent from God. No one could perform the miracles you do unless God was with him.
Nicodemus, you need to know this one thing. No one can enter the kingdom of heaven unless he is born again.
How can someone be born when they are already old? Can anyone go back into the mother's womb and be born a second time?
Nicodemus, I'm talking about a spiritual rebirth. Mankind can only reproduce human life, but it is the Holy Spirit who gives new life from heaven. You shouldn't be surprised I talk about being born again. You hear the wind.